Hey, I wanted to talk about this final part of this brochure layout where we are going to create a booklet and printing. And I know that there's probably some questions when it comes to taking your file that is set up for the way you designed it from chronologically from page 1 through page 8 and turning that into a printer spread, which is a little bit tricky, or it seems to be a little bit tricky, but InDesign makes it pretty easy to do. Just have to follow some steps. The steps are outlined in the assignment in here. The important part really is two parts, I guess, in here is we want to download this PPD for a file for the Mac, and then follow these steps outlined in this part 2 here. So first off, and actually if you click on this and look at the steps in here, you'll see that this file to be downloaded is actually in this document here as well. So what I want to do is I'm going to, I have InDesign open, I think right now, or no, I don't, I just opened it up. I'm going to download this file real quick, and it's it's basically it basically installs Acrobat into InDesign so that it will understand how to create this file. For some reason, Adobe didn't put it in there, which doesn't make any sense to me. But anyways, I'll show you how to do this. So downloaded this file here. Let's see, open it up. And let's see here. So no, that's not what I want. Let's see, downloads, and it's this file right here that you'll download. Just a tiny little file. What we're going to do is we're going to create a file in InDesign in the folder in your applications. So what I do is if you just open up a new window and then go to your applications here. If you go into the applications folder into Adobe InDesign, what we're going to do is we actually go into the presets here, and in presets we're going to create a new folder, and it's important that this folder is named exactly correct. When you go to create a new folder in here, your computer might have some access privileges restricted here, and this is just to keep people from screwing up anything in their applications folder. So just you have to enter in your password for your computer probably a couple of times. Okay, so we are looking to create a folder called PPDs. It's case sensitive, so capital PPD lowercase s, PPDs, and then I'm going to put this file that I downloaded right here into that PPD folder. Okay, and then this, oops, let me go back here. So then this folder here, the PPD folder, needs to go into the presets. It looks like I'm actually already in the presets. Let's see here. Yes, I am. PPDs in the preset. I've got this document in here. Cool. Okay, this will allow us to use Acrobat when we go to create our document. So I'm going to open up, I created just a real basic test file in InDesign to show you how this is going to work. First off, I want to talk about how you got your file laid out. It's possible that, let's see if I can arrange this the way I know some people have this set up. So I know some people probably have their document set up like this, where you've got basically your front and back are laid out together, and that's totally fine. That's what I would do to lay this out to begin with. But when you get to actually setting this up for printing out, you'll want to make sure that your back page is actually at the end of your document. So just make sure that your the allow document pages to shuffle and the allow selected page spreads to shuffle is unchecked. When you do that, you should be able to take your back page, the last page in here, and drag it down to the end of your document. And you just go right to the right hand side of this last page and drop it, and it should drop right in there. What'll happen is anything you have that's crossing over this, when you break these two apart, if you have elements crossing over them, it might lose some of them. So what you'll want to do is, like for example, on my back page, I lost this bar that goes across. I put a color bar on each one of these pages just so we could track and see how they break apart. So I'm going to copy this color bar here. And then if I go back to this page here, I'm going to say paste, but I'm going to say paste it in place. And that's going to put it exactly where it needs to be on the front page. And then I'm just going to extend this bleed out on the front and back covers so that it matches what it's supposed to go to. Oops. Okay. So that's in place. Okay, now what I want to do is I don't need to rearrange these pages at all. What I'm going to do is I'm going to print a booklet. And where you do that is under your file menu, down at the very bottom, there's the option to print a booklet. When it opens up in here, it defaults to printer, should be going to PostScript file. And what we're going to do is, let's see, I should go into here. Just look at these settings a little bit. We have 2-up saddle stitch. That's what we want to do. There's a bunch of different options in here, but we're going to be saddle stitching this. Creep, we'll talk about creep a little bit in class, but it's basically just how pages will kind of slide out as you get more inside the folds. So you want to just automatically adjust to fit marks and bleeds according to your document settings here, so leave that checked. And you'll want to leave this print blank printer spreads on. You'll always want to leave that on. There's no reason I can think of to really turn that off. You probably don't have any blank spreads in here, but it's a good rule of thumb just to leave that on all the time. Okay, so in your print settings, this is where if you have installed that file that we just downloaded, you should have this Adobe PDF option in here. If you don't, if you haven't done that, you will not have that option. You'll probably just have whatever printer you might have installed on your computer showing up in there. So select the Adobe PDF option in here. When you go to set this up, you'll want to choose 11 by 17. That is our page size that we're going to be printing onto. Marks and bleeds. For this, I think that probably the best thing you would have in here is to have crop marks and registration marks. There's really no reason to have the bleed marks and the color bars. I guess you can have the bleed marks on, but the color bars and the page information really don't help you at all. And then you'll want to use the document bleed settings in here too. Output is going to say composite CMYK, and you'll see in your color management, this is where it's going to convert your colors that you've gotten there RGB into a printer profile. I use the US Web Coded swap to V2 as kind of a default. Whether that works for any specific case is kind of subjective, but that is kind of the default when I don't know what to set it at. Okay, so we have PostScript file, PPD is Adobe PDF. We've got our crops, bleeds, registration marks set up, 11 by 17 page. It's going horizontally here, so we got flipped up on its end. And that's pretty much it. So I'm going to say OK here. And then when I'm in here, everything should be set correctly now. So I can say print. And what it's going to do is it should ask me to save a file. So I'm just going to save this to my desktop as, we'll call it test print. Save. Okay, so there's my test print file. Now this is a PS file, which is a PostScript file, and this is just kind of the native raw code or language of a printer document. But we want to actually create a PDF, and there are ways to make this work straight through InDesign, but it's a little bit more complex. The easy way to do this is to use a program that comes with Acrobat. If you open up your, go to your application folder on your computer and pull up Adobe Acrobat DC. You should have your Acrobat application in there, but you may have noticed this at some point. There's an Acrobat Distiller program. And Distiller has been around for 1 million years, and it's the way we used to always create PDFs. In fact, Distiller is kind of an important part of all creating all PDFs. But what we want to do is we want to go in and we can choose in here what the preset's going to be, and we are going to go to press quality for this. And then all we do is we take our test print PS and we drag it onto this, and it will process that. It'll ask me a little question about confirm security. I don't know why it always does that, but it does. And then it'll give us a PDF of this. Now when you open up the PDF and look at it, what you should see is you'll see your pages printed out. You have to kind of turn your head on the side here, but you see that the front and the back are now together. That looks correct. When you come to the inside, you'll notice that the inside and the page 7 are together. Then I have 6 and 1 are together. Oh, and I just caught myself in one mistake here. So you notice how my pages are not centered properly here. And if I print them front to back, they will not be correct. So let me do one little change here. I'll show you something that needs to happen that I forgot about. Okay, I'm just going to leave Distiller open. So I'm going to go back to print booklet. And then I'm going to go into my print settings. And when I come into my print settings, when I go to setup the page position, I just want to make sure I have that centered. And click OK. And one thing that you should do probably that'll catch this is if you hit the preview button, you can actually look at what's going to kind of create for you, and you can flip through here and look at the way the pages are lined up and just make sure that they're correct. You can create a page dummy to make sure that it's going to be correct, and I can show you how to do that as well. But this is a pretty basic document, and this is the way you would have it normally set up for an 8-page. Your center spread will be the last spread you'll see in here. Okay, so let's try this one last time. So we're going to print, test print to the desktop. Here's my test print. I'm going to open up Distiller here again, and we're going to run it one more time. Say yes. There's my test print. And here are my spreads set up in printer spread, with my crop marks and my bleed marks, everything that I need to have. And it should be centered in the page so that when it duplexes front to back, they should be lined up. So anyways, that's the basics that you need to have to create a PDF for printing. Hope this helps, and I will help you guys and see you soon. Thanks.